Hey everyone, how you doing? And welcome to the English of Everything. As you'll notice right now, I'm sitting in the car, and that's because earlier on today I got my car back from the garage and from the service because I had some problems with it. And I'm going to take it for a drive round and make sure it's all fixed because there was a problem with one of the sensors. So hopefully it's still working, and we're going to take it for a drive. And what I'm going to do is explain some of the things in the car, some driving vocabulary, the pieces here, and how to drive a car. Because I imagine a lot of you in the world know how to drive a car, but whether to talk about it in English, that's another matter. So that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do first is talk about some vocabulary. And this big round thing in front of me is called the steering wheel. And the steering wheel is for steering. It's locked at the moment because I don't have the key in, but this is for steering. You steer left, you steer right, or you turn left, or you turn right. On the side here, we have for the indicators. And this one is for the windscreen wipers. So on the left here, it tells you when you want to go left. You see here, when you want to go right, it's here. And this is for turning on the windscreen wipers to go on and off when it is raining. In the middle of the steering wheel here, we have the horn. Anyone know? This is for when you want to make yourself known to other people. You use the horn. Right here, I have the key. And I'm going to put it into the ignition and turn it so that you can see the dashboard. And this front part of the car is called the dashboard. And here we have 3 dials, if you can see this. And the dial on the left is called the Rev Counter. And you can see it goes from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And this counts the revolutions per minute of the engine. So when you press the pedal, the gas pedal or the accelerator pedal, the revs go up. In the middle we have the petrol gauge, which tells you how much petrol you have. So when it runs out, when it's running low, you need to fill up with petrol. And on the right here we have the speedometer. And the speedometer is for telling how fast you're going. Quite simply, if you have a speed limit, in most countries you do have speed limits, you must adhere to this speed limit. And so using the speedometer, you can tell how fast you are going. In the middle of it here, you have a small little display panel, and it explains how many kilometers or miles, if you're in England or some other countries, you have done. And you have the trip. And the trip at the top, you have a little button you can press, and let me press it, it'll take you back to 0. And this can count your journey, just one single journey, so it doesn't add it on top, and you can see how many things you've done. Right, on the left here, I don't know if you can see it or not, you have the control for turning on the lights. Just here in the middle you have a display screen, and this is the time, the date, the temperature. Most cars have these. On the front part of the dash here we have a radio, CD player. You have a big dial in the middle for volume, and then you can change the tracks on the CD, different radio channels, things like this. At the bottom you have the heating and air conditioning system. So on the left there is the dial for where the air comes out. So here it's for the face and the feet. Here is for the windscreen, here is for just the windscreen and the feet. So in different weathers you can change the temperature. Here you have the strength of the fan, and here is the temperature control. Just underneath down here is the gear stick. And this is for changing gears in the car. This car has 5 gears and a reverse gear. So if we put the clutch in, we go 1, 2, straight forward for 3, 4, 5. And to get into reverse, you press the button underneath and put the gear stick into reverse. Next to the gear stick, down here again, there is the handbrake. And the handbrake, if you press the button and put it down, means you can move the car. If you put the handbrake on, the car doesn't move. Down by my feet, there are 3 pedals. I imagine as a driver you know what these do. But the one on the left is called the clutch, and you push the clutch in to change the gears. In the middle of the pedal rack there is a brake pedal. I just see one of my friends, he's here, hang on 1 second. Ciao! I'll come and say hi in a bit. You can be on. So the one in the middle, that's my good friend, is a brake pedal. Ciao, how you doing, man? Say hello to the world. This is Medya, it's my good friend Medya. What are you doing here, man? You come see Kay?
Wait, yeah.
You going for a drink or something?
No, I'm collecting money.
Collecting, you're the debt collector today.
Collecting money that he owes to
Ah.
I'm a courier, they don't speak to each other.
Oh, Jesus. Good situation then.
Always.
Cool, man. Listen, I gotta go because I'm doing this, but I'll give you a shout later. Ciao. So there's Medya. Where did we get to? The pedals? Yeah. So the pedal on the left is the clutch, pedal in the middle is the brake, and the pedal on the right is, in England we call it the accelerator pedal, and in America they call it the gas pedal. And so these are the three pedals. And what else do we have in the car? We have the door handle, we have the controls for the windows, for winding the window down, winding the window up. And these are pretty much the controls of any standard car. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn the engine on and we'll go for a drive around the corner, and I'll talk a little bit about how we drive the car. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to ask my man here to turn this light off because it's actually blinding me a little bit. We've got the lights on, so I'm going to have to drive without this one in my eye like this. So do you need me to turn it off? So the light's off and we're going to start the car. So I'm going to turn the key, turn the ignition and start the engine. A very important thing while driving is this. This is a seat belt, and you must wear a seat belt when you are driving because it prevents you from smashing your head somewhere when you have a crash. So it's very important to wear a seat belt. So what I'm going to do first of all is put the car into reverse because I need to go backwards to get out of this parking space. I shall take off the handbrake, as you can see here. We're in reverse, take off the handbrake, my foot is on the clutch, and now I shall put my foot on the gas and we shall go backwards. I gotta make sure I don't crash into anything because it's quite tight parking spaces around here. So let me turn the wheel and off we go. Let's drive. So into first gear, change to second gear. Every time I change, I put the clutch in, third gear and straight, and off we go. So I'm going to turn left. So I'm going to press the indicator to turn left. There is a car coming, so I'm going to brake, wait for the car to come first, and then turn around the corner. I don't know what the car's going. Yeah, okay, the car's going straight. So I don't know what he's waiting for, so I'm going to turn left anyway and go straight down here. So we go straight down the road, second gear, third gear, and again we're going to turn left. You can see at the side of the road here, maybe you can see out the windows, there are parked cars everywhere. It's a very residential street we live on, and there are a lot of parked cars everywhere. You'll notice immediately, maybe you can see on the camera, maybe you can't, but the windscreen, and this is this glass panel at the front here, we call it a windscreen, it's starting to fog up. Because there's two of us here in the car and it's quite cold outside, it's starting to fog up. So what I'm going to do is put the heater on to fan about number 2 and put a little bit of air so it just blows up and gets rid of the fog. Or we call it condensation as well, when air evaporates and becomes steam or becomes fog and it goes into the window when it's cold. I guess you know this if you have winters where you are. So we're going to turn round and round, and I'm just following a car right now. You have to make sure you follow at a safe distance so you don't smash into the back of the car in front of you. So let's do this. We're going to turn right here and let's go. There's not really much I can tell you about here. It's a very residential area of houses, trees at the side of the road, and yeah. Okay, maybe actually you can see right here above my head there is a rear view mirror, and when I look in this rear view mirror I can see behind me and see if there are any cars following me, and when I'm reversing I can see what's behind me. So this is the rear view mirror. As we go down here, let me indicate left and turn left. Okay, there's a number of different road signs here. Maybe when we get to a bit of a busier road with street lights you'll be able to see them here. So in front of us, if I stop very quickly, you see this black and white policeman crossing the road. Hide the camera. There is a black and white line in front across the road, and this is for pedestrians to cross the road, and we call this a zebra crossing. And when the pedestrians cross this, they have the priority, so it means cars must stop so that the pedestrians can cross the road. So again, as you can see out the front, we're coming up to a traffic light. You see it's orange and now red, and red means stop. There's a blue sign just in front of it with 2 arrows, which means the traffic can only go straight or only turn right. There's a lot of roadworks around here at the moment. They're doing a lot of work, and in front of you maybe you can see some of this, which makes it a pain in the arse in the morning going to work and things like this. But we have the traffic lights on red. A lot of people call it orange, as I just did, but in actual fact in English we call this amber. and it's just turned to amber now, and now you have green, so we can go. And also in front of us we have the tram tracks, and this guy has just gone the wrong way down the tram tracks, so he's gonna have to get off the tram tracks in a minute because there's a road right next to it. There you go, my friend. He's from Slovakia, so maybe he's never been to Prague before, or maybe he has. So, okay, we're coming up to another set of traffic lights, and we're going to stop because we're going to turn right. So I'm going to press the brake, and in front of us there are a number of pedestrians crossing the road, and they're crossing on the zebra crossing. As you can see them here, off they go, round and round and round, and we have traffic in front of us which is crossing at a crossroads. When you have a road that's crossed like this, it's a crossroads. So when the cars go this way, cars go this way, and you have traffic lights to regulate the traffic. So we see some people walking and crossing the road here. In front of us we have the big site. This is the National Museum. I don't know if you can actually see it. Can you see it out of the camera there? Yeah, this is the Prague, or the Czech National Museum, and this is where they keep all the artifacts and nice things. I would lie and say I've been there and it's wonderful, but to be honest, in 8 years I've been here, I've still never been in this museum. I should really go there sometime and get cultured and see it, but I am not. So, what else are we waiting for? Yeah, we're waiting, as we wait for the traffic light to change, you can see all the cars in front of us. Because it's dark, they all have their headlights on. The headlights are the main lights at the front of the car, so people can see where they are going. There's this, okay, green light, off we go. Turn right, and now we're going to get onto a main road, and this road has 3 lanes, and you can see in front that there are arrows on the road, and there are road markings defining where the 3 lanes are. If I want to overtake this car, okay, it's just gone into the right hand lane, but I'm going to overtake the car, which means I'm going faster than this car, and I am able to overtake it. I have to make sure the car in front of me is still quite a long way away, but I have to make sure there's a safe distance, so if he brakes, I don't hit him. Down here, the speed limit right now is 70 kilometers an hour, so I'm watching my speedometer and I'm making sure I stay under 70. Well, I'm like 72, 73. That's a bit more, but it's all right. Yeah, actually, interesting fact. Did you know that on speedometers on cars are actually they show 5 kilometers faster than actually the car is going? So when I have here, it says I'm doing exactly 70. In fact, I'm actually only doing 65, and it prevents a lot of people from getting speeding tickets and things like this. What else can we talk about? Hands on the steering wheel. When you do your driving test, or when you learn to drive, me indicating going to the right hand lane, it is advisable, or is recommended, that you have your hands at a 10 to 2 position. But unfortunately, this is very uncomfortable. I don't know anyone who does this outside of a driving school. So, as you probably know, if you're a driver yourself, it's much more comfortable to just drive how you drive. Okay, in front of us we have some roadworks, and we have to go down into 1 lane because there's only 1 lane here. Okay, so we had a quick break there because we went over some cobblestones and we're going quite fast, and the sound was quite bad. But now we're going into some roadworks, and you can see there's a long line of traffic, and we call this a traffic jam, and this is a very, very annoying occurrence. Let me go forward and indicate and get into this. Could you mind the camera back a little bit so I can see? Thank you very much. This idiot in the Citroen did not let me in, but unfortunately, I love Czech Republic, but Czech has some terrible drivers. You guys are not so great at it if you're watching this in Czech, but that's the way it is. So right now we are driving across cobblestones, and in Prague there are a lot of streets with these old-fashioned cobblestones. It's good I'm driving slow and it's not so bad, but it's terrible for the cars, it's terrible for the suspension. If you ever buy a car, don't ever buy one that's been driven around Prague. Although if I'm selling this one, you can buy this one. Because these cobblestones destroy the suspension of cars. The suspension is what is like the shock absorbers, and it stops it from bumping and being such a hard ride. And these are cobblestones across here. Right, we're crossing the bridge, and what are we doing now? Yeah, we have now roadworks have finished, and I'm back in the lane. and I'm going to indicate right, go into the right hand lane, and we're going to get off this main road and go back up to the high street, back up to home. We just went past a speed camera which will flash you if you are going over the speed limit. Luckily we weren't, so no problems and no fines. A fine is the penalty you get for being caught doing something bad, which means you must pay some money to the police for doing something wrong, such as filming videos while driving cars. I'm sure that's not the safest thing in the world. Yeah, right. Time to stop at the last couple of sets of traffic lights, and then we'll go back up the hill and go back towards home. What else can I talk about driving? Here in Czech we drive on the right hand side of the road. In England we drive on the left hand side of the road, so it's the opposite to what it is here. In America they're on the right hand side of the road, all European countries on the right hand side of the road. There's only a couple of countries in the world, and I do believe they were because they were part of the Commonwealth, which means the Queen was the monarch of the country. So example, Australia drives on the left hand side, India, if I'm not mistaken, drives on the left hand side, and a few other countries. And a lot of people ask me if it was easier to switch sides when I started driving, because obviously I learned to drive in England. I drove a lot in England, and now I'm in Czech on the right hand side. But to be honest, it's quite easy. It's not really a big problem. Now I have the problem when I go back to England. Now I can't drive on the other side with the gear stick on the left and all the pedals and the steering wheel on the right hand side of the car. This is really hard to me. And last time I was there I had a problem. I came out of a car park and I honestly couldn't remember which way I was going, which way the traffic went, and I had to wait for another car to come along to actually see which way I was meant to go, and it was, my brain had a complete spasm and stopped working. So what else can we see? Yeah, up here we have an overpass, which is the main road we were just on, and we're about to go under this. And this is called an overpass because it passes over where we're going and the traffic passes over. So we're about to go under the overpass to get where we're going. What else to talk about with driving? I do believe there's pretty much everything I can think of right now. Put it into first gear, put it into second gear, make sure I indicate, get into the correct lane. And now we're about to go under a bridge, which is a train bridge. It's the main station, main Prague station here, and this is the train bridge. So let's go up. On this side it says the road is closed, but it's actually closed after the point we want to get to because of the roadworks, so it is fine. Up the hill. No, actually I'm going to turn left because we're going to go to a petrol station very quickly, because I need to put some petrol in to get to work tomorrow, because my petrol is running low and the petrol warning light is about to come on. So here is a petrol station. You see it just in front. And I think on that note we shall finish there, and I shall end it there because one, I don't really know what else to say about driving, and two, the petrol station is closed. So I almost went into a closed petrol station. That was quite pointless, so I'll have to get petrol in the morning at a different petrol station. That was good. So I shall sign off now and say goodbye, because I'm about to go on the cobblestones again. It's going to get a bit noisy, as you can maybe hear. And we're going to go up the hill, and I shall say goodbye, and I shall see you guys in the next lesson. Okay, take care, and happy driving. Bye bye everyone.